Good day, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar, which topic is the future of radio is in the cloud, insights from Radio Kaleva cloud journey. My name is Juuso Taipale, and I will be your host today for this session. And hopefully the latest arrivals will arrive before we go for the topics. So let's go through all the speakers and panelists that we have today here. We have an exciting speakers for you today who will share their insights and experiences on cloud-native radio automation platform technology in radio business. Our guest includes Jorma Kivelä, the CTO of Jutel RadioMan. And then we have also Sini Salmirinne, the chief editor from Radio Kaleva. She will be joining remotely for this webinar. And basically about the topics. So Jutel RadioMan is the first full-range cloud-native radio automation platform for commercial and public broadcasting. Jorma Kivelä will introduce the RadioMan core capabilities and benefits in cloud-based radio production. And then we have Sini Salmirinne from Radio Kaleva. So Radio Kaleva is a brand new radio station who has started operations in cloud from day one. They have started, and today we will hear more about the experiences and insights from Radio Kaleva studio implementation and how they utilize the location-independent live broadcasting. So we have an engaging session lineup for you today, and we of course encourage you to participate for the webinar. So actually you can ask questions during the webinar. There is a Q&A below of this Zoom webinar window where you can send all the questions, and then we have reserved also approximately 15 minutes for all the questions. So we hope that you will find this webinar informative and insightful. And let's get started with the quick introduction about the RadioMan. So there will be a short video which I will be now sharing you, and after that we can continue with the topics.
RadioMan is a full-range cloud-based radio broadcasting system for commercial and public radio broadcasting. Jutel is one of the most experienced media and radio automation solution providers in the world. RadioMan is next-generation radio broadcasting platform. We serve the world's leading media operators in Europe, North America, Middle East, and Africa. Visit us at jutel.fi.
Okay, that was a quick introduction to the RadioMan world, and now Jorma will tell you more about RadioMan and all the benefits. So let's get started. Please, Jorma, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. So I'm talking about the future of radio and radio in the cloud, especially with the RadioMan in mind. So if we think about the future of the audio, in the future, we provide real-time stories, news, entertainment, linear broadcast, podcast, on-demand services, combination of different kind of material in the radio. Radio is not just a linear FM distribution, it's also other topics. And with future radio, you can also generate audio, you can reach your audience anywhere. Today we are talking about cloud-based production, and with cloud-based production and distribution architecture, it gives possibility to new distribution channels, mobiles, cars, recommendation-based services, profile-based on-demand services, that kind of possibilities. With cloud-based architectures, we can have new business models, ad hoc distribution networks, temporary channels, channels based on special brands, not just on a physical infrastructure or geography. And all this becomes possible with the cloud and with the new radio tools. So we are talking today about RadioMan, new next generation radio production platform. It's totally browser-based. It can be deployed in the cloud. It can be also with hybrid installation with on-premises. It has all the bells and whistles of radio broadcasting platform, and the special features with the cloud comes that it can be location independent. We can produce and control anywhere. We have very flexible operations because we can, for instance, arrange the playout either in the studio or in server environment or in the cloud. There's less physical infrastructure. It has very fast rollout. All the user interfaces are browser-based, and it's simple to maintain and update. About Jutel, Jutel has been around quite a long time, since '84. We have our main customers are typically large national broadcasters and then commercial networks and commercial radio stations. And what are the benefits of using cloud or hybrid installations? The first benefit is that the operations can be location independent. You can run your show anywhere. You can easily adapt to new distribution channels and methods. If you want to have a new web radio channels, or you want to have new sub channels or new distribution configurations, it's easy to do that in network. And you can place your playout anywhere. It can be in the studio, in the server center, or in the cloud. And you can also cascade those to each other and each different channels. You can connect directly to external feeds with your playout. You don't need always to bring the external feed first to studio and from there to the transmissions. You can connect codecs. You can cascade stations or channels with each other. And with cloud-based systems, the implementation is fast. You don't have to wait for the servers to be installed, everything to be installed before you can start testing or training. You can start immediately from cloud and then bring out more and more functionality to your operations. The cloud gives a lot of flexibility in if there happens something catastrophic, weather or some man-made actions or something like that. Your radio show continues even if your studio goes down. You can easily go to any other location and run the show from there. It has internal backups in the cloud so that the replica of the station can be built or rebuilt in minutes if you would lose even the cloud, and you would need to use another region from the cloud operations. And then one important thing with the cloud installations is that you don't need to manage everything yourself, because in the cloud the operations are service-based. So if we think one of the things today we encounter is that we have ever increasing need for skills, and then we have also all the time there's need and lack of specialized skills in the IT world today. So what we need is naturally for the radio station, we need business expertise, we need studio expertise, and we need talent radio persons to run the station. But then technically, we need persons to handle databases, to handle distribution to transmitters and internet. Then we need persons who can manage with the internet topics. Data security is coming ever increasing and ever more important. Today, the studio environments and interconnections are based on IP networks. That needs special knowledge. We need persons who can manage the servers, server installations, and then manage the actual applications running on the servers. And what this means is that there's a lot of talents needed today on the radio stations. And if we start using the cloud, and there's cloud-based services, the cloud service helps quite a lot in that sense, because we can get and utilize the expertise coming from the service provider themselves. So this helps a lot in the future. Then if we look on RadioMan itself and what it brings into cloud operations, we have all the radio station IT operations. They can be run into cloud, so that we have the planning side, we have media management, production, playout, mixing. All of those can be managed in the cloud. Then we can have also streaming services, distribution control services, which transmitters to run, and so on, and then also legal logging services. And then we can control it from multiple locations which are interconnected to the cloud, so that there can be main channels, main channel control, main studio. Then we can have regional small studios or remote studios, remote locations. We can have home reporters. We can, for instance, provide and plan voiceovers anywhere around the cloud, and also all the planning functionality and that kind of can be distributed and done remotely. And then there's naturally possibility to control and feed the web radio stations, and also to control either the feeds to a tower company who takes care of the transmitters, or directly IP driven to the transmitters themselves. Then if we look on the more closely on the operations which RadioMan provides in the cloud environment, there's on the planning and scheduling side, we have the program scheduling, we have a template day, week, template management. We can have music planning, music profile planning, commercials planning, interfaces, other content planning and production. Then we have content management, content intake. We can take commercial schedules in, We can have news programs, newsroom interfaces imported. We can have a different media imported, and also there can be automatic recordings from other sources or other channels running, so that we can then record, replay, edit those materials. And on the content management side, we can naturally handle all the media objects, the metadata there. We can handle the music management, music metadata. There's also commercials. We have naturally the playlist controls, playlist planning, which can be distributed. There's also card walls, playing cards, and these can be multitude of different card wall sheets and the planning of those. And then we can also manage a lot of external sources, so that we can select those external sources to be part of our programming. Then when we go to the actual playout or live operations, we can have the automated playout if we want, for instance, night hours or something like that run automatically, or some specific channels run automatically. Then there's live playout, and live playout can be also from multiple locations. We can do interviews. We can do voiceovers anywhere. Then there's possibility to do remote live, so that we just take a laptop and headset somewhere, or a codec somewhere. And naturally, there's also all kinds of online data now playing information going to web pages or to internet streaming mobile handsets. Then on the publishing side, there's naturally the linear terrestrial transmissions with FM or DAB, but there's also simultaneously we can produce a multitude of streams, different versions of streams. We can publish to website selected programs, selected material, and there's also, if the station has on-demand functionality, then we can have on-demand operations running to the customers or users. Here we have a simplified workflow in the cloud about RadioMan, and the RadioMan latest version, it can be used in multitude of environments, so that we can use it on a very small stations. We can use it also on radio networks with different sites, regional sites and central sites, central channels. We can use it also on large systems with lots of studios, and also on multi-language, multi-channel operations. There's also possibility to use it for content production, content distribution, for instance, podcast type of productions or on-demand productions. So it adapts to lots of business cases. But then it also adapts to different kinds of workflows. So that the basic RadioMan workflow is so that we have long-term programming, template-based planning possibility. We can do daily templates, weekly templates, and also special day templates. And with the templates, we can already include material there, places for music tracks, jingles, that kind of material, but we can also specify if a program is, for instance, going to be automatically recorded, if it's going to be, for instance, replayed 2 days after the first playout session, and if that program is part of a series of programs making up an episode or something like that. Then with the templates, we select which days, which times each template is used, and generate those to daily programs, day plans. But we can simultaneously also do so that we can import schedules and music schedules from external systems like G-Selector and other scheduling systems, so that we can either use one way, or we can combine those to make up the station schedules. Then there's also possibility that we in a very small instances, we just start with day planning or directly with on-air application and copy day structure there and start running the shows. So it's very flexible in that sense. Then if we look on the RadioMan channel structure, RadioMan itself supports multiple parallel channels, so that we can use the same system for multi-channel operations. We can loan programs from one channel to another channel, make delayed programs and that kind of possibilities. And here we can see on the right one, there's a device called RadioMan Media node. That is the actual layout node, part of the RadioMan, which can be placed anywhere. It is not just the playout device, it is also a mixer, and it is also a codec for receiving external sources and sending material to the outside operations. And then naturally we have also the possibility to produce audio material with audio editing possibilities. Today we have integration, for instance, with our existing Quick Edit Pro audio editor, multi-channel editor, and we are also introducing part by part our new web audio platform, which is going to combine mobile world and browser-based world, audio recording, audio editing, and transmitting functionality together. But that's, I think we will have separate sessions on those functionalities later. Then if we look on the RadioMan itself, about the media node, I mentioned that it is combined mixer, combined playout. It is also a recorder. It is also a codec, and it can be installed in different environments, so that we can have it totally in cloud. In cloud, we are getting material in either with WebRTC or RTP or SRT streaming and out simultaneous, similar ways. if it's in a studio or server environment, we can have IP audio interfaces like Dante AES 67, Livewire, WeetNet, all the different flavors. And naturally, if it's placed in studio, it's also possible to utilize audio cards with analog or digital audio interfaces. And the same platform can be used in different studio environments. Here we have a picture. On the left, there is a picture of a simplest radio studio. It is on a tablet form. Then on the bottom right, there is a very simple studio environment where we have just a laptop and a USB mixer, and all the player functionality is then within the cloud. And then we can also build up all IP studio complexes. And on the top right, we have a picture showing RadioMan on-air application within the Lavo VisTool environment, so that it's everything is virtual on a browser interface, and we can see the RadioMan controls in the middle, and then there are also RadioMan control buttons on the lower right corner. The reason for placing them there is that if we have touchscreen environments, you can always find the buttons on the right places there. Then if we look on the RadioMan on-air application itself, we can see that nowadays we have also the possibility to have the mixer controls on the same user interfaces. The mixer controls, there's naturally controls for the playout levels, but then there's also possibility to have the control of external interfaces, and also if there are persons who have connected externally with other on-air application, on-air screens like this, the same program. And then we can also control and select the external feeds. We can make a pre-selection of buttons there, so that we can, for instance, take material from a sports arena or a codec, or from a satellite feed in IP streams, so that they are manually selected during the live show. But the same thing can be also done on the list level, so that we can have timed blocks with external feeds programmed there. So this is very flexible in that sense. And if we look then with the configurations, we have here a picture of a very simple light studio environment, where we have the studios as PC-based units with USB mixers. Then all the functionality is in the network, and then from the network we have SRT streaming services to tower company or to web radio. This is pretty much like the configuration with going with Radio Kaleva. here so that they can run their programs from different locations easily, and this gives a good introduction to Sini Salmirinne from Radio Kaleva to explain their experiences on using the environment.
Yeah, thank you, Jorma. That gave us a good overview of the RadioMan, and I think it's now good to move with the Sini's presentation, more practical level and the user experiences and that kind of thing. So please, Sini.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes, okay. So hello, everybody. I'm Sini Salmirinne, the editor-in-chief for Radio Kaleva. I guess still nowadays maybe one of the newest radio stations in Finland. We started broadcasting a year ago. Joining this webinar from Oulu, Finland, the same location as Jutel, but from our radio station, so from different location than Jorma and Juuso. But I will start my video and start sharing my small presentation here. Hopefully you can see this. So basically what you just saw from the previous show, we do it live here with us at Radio Kaleva, doing it nice and easy, like Tina Turner is singing or speaking before doing Proud Mary. We like to do it nice and easy. That's us. Just shortly about us, we are located here in northern Finland in Oulu. We started out our broadcasting basically a year ago, and at that point we had transmitters here in the city of Oulu region and a bit down south from here. But nowadays we basically have broadcasting in the whole waistline of Miss Finland, like we us Finns like to see the shape of Finland as a shape of a lady. So in the waistline we have coverage with FM radio, and of course through the internet you can listen to us wherever you want. We are a part of Kaleva Media company, old media house here up north. Kaleva Media has been doing news for northern Finland for over 120 years. At the moment, in the media house, there are two regional newspapers, the biggest regional newspapers of northern Finland, multiple local newspapers. We have marketing solutions, and now we also have a radio station. This is something that the big newspapers, the regional newspapers, have been doing for the last years. Basically, I'd say all the big regional newspapers of Finland nowadays have started their own commercial radio station next to doing the newspaper business also, because you need to be versatile, you need to be ready for the future, and you need to be doing controlling the multiple scene, doing videos, doing writing, doing now also the audio content. But for Kaleva Media, radio is all new, is a new thing as a content. It's a new thing for as a forum that needs its own technical needs. So maybe this is something why we ended up doing this RadioMan 6, the on-air version, because we had no baggage from the history, and for example, Kaleva Media didn't buy an old radio station and try to sort of convert it and turn it into their own, but we just started out of nothing. Here is our small group that is here. It's me on the left. I'm the editor-in-chief. I do producing. I'm on the air myself too, and everything. There's Tuukka in the middle, doing basically our morning show and other stuff, and then Ville there on the right, doing our afternoon shows. And Ville has basically been also the technical guy, doing innovations and handling mostly the RadioMan and our studio as a whole. We have no technical aid here. Basically, in this old news house, they know how to do newspaper, digital and the actual old style newspaper, but they have no knowledge of radio whatsoever. So we have been lucky to have Ville. He basically have knowledge also because he's as a part-time musician on his spare time. So he knows something about mixers and so on. So me and Ville, Tuukka, we also all have experience, work experience from Yle, National Broadcasting Company of Finland, and Yle also uses RadioMan, though they don't use the number 6 yet. So it's more of an old school version. But we went to the lighter version, to the number 6 version, cloud version. The studio setup, as you can see there in the picture, is basically this Rodecaster Pro mixer and a computer, and that's it. Then you need to go online, and there you go. We did have some sort of first year childhood itches, I'd call, with the technique, with the studio technique. I'd say that basically the problems that we faced and we had to figure out were not with the RadioMan, but with the connection from Rode to the computer. So there were some kind of itches there that we needed to figure out to get the consistent level of doing the voices and keeping it going and not, you know, going under. But yeah, it was the connection that we needed to figure out. It also, as an old school radio person, me myself, I've been working for the National Broadcasting Company for over 10 years, and RadioMan I knew, but I was used to having the big mixer board with all the lines on the table. So at first, when I saw this number 6 version, where you have the mixer, half of the mixer on the screen, and then half of the mixer there on the Rodecaster, I thought that I'll never get over this. I'm not good with technique. So it took a while, but now. And I thought also that it can work with the nice doing nice fade outs and fade ins with the different elements that you need to put on the air, but you learn, and now it's everyday life. So that was our light studio, the Rodecaster Pro mixer and the computer. But then when you go even lighter, we get to our travel kit version. Like you heard from the previous presentation, it's really light and easy to take with you. We are a small bunch. We don't have a big staff. It's just us 3, basically, some freelancers doing every little bit every now and then, but the big picture is that it's us 3 doing everything. So it needs to be really light and easy. This, you can see Ville, we had this summer trip from an island nearby. There's this artsy place with a certain kind of acoustics, this weird looking little temple where Ville is standing doing the news. And you can see there that he has a laptop, he has a headset, and he has a sound card. We are using this Focusrite Scarlett version. And then we share the internet connection from our mobile phone, and voila, there you go. You just log into the RadioMan 6, you open the on air, and you go. Then we just, for example, with the news, we check the news, read the news from the, from Teams, from our phone, and basically I'd say that the quality of sound, for example, is the way that you wouldn't know whether I'm doing this from this radio station or from my own kitchen. Here's a couple of pictures. There are, don't worry about the text. These are, I'm taking these from our Instagram account. We've been doing broadcasting from rock festivals. We did some road trips. You can see me on the right-hand side reading the news, just there, because we just parked the car and I open my laptop, I hook it into the sound card, I hook in my headphones, I share the internet through my mobile phone, and there I go. I'm doing the news. And in the middle picture, Ville is doing broadcasting from this, it was a summer event, this floating little stage, and there you go. He's doing interviews. We also use this same setup, or the same setups when we do the broadcasting for our local ice hockey team. Oulun Kärpät is a big thing over here, playing ice hockey on the Finnish National League, and we have been broadcasting all of their plays since last fall. There on the left-hand side, you can see our studio guy doing the pre-interviews. There, he has basically the same setup next to the ice hockey ring that we have on here at the station. So he has the Rodecaster Pro and then the laptop and so on. He's interviewing there one of our players, and then the man doing the actual presenting of the play, how you call it, the on-air guy. He's doing the thing with the sound card, Focusrite, like you can see the red piece over here, and then just the laptop, and they are having dialogue, of course, also, because they are on the same on-air system, so they can do dialogue. The other one is sitting next to the ring, and the other one is there where all the broadcasters are. Wait a minute, I moved my vision a little bit, and here are just some examples. We have, so it's light to carry with us wherever we like to do broadcasting, but it has also enabled us to do broadcasting from home, or like last year, because it was our first year of doing broadcasting, it was really like a startup business type of a situation. We didn't do any vacations or whatsoever, but I could take my laptop and my sound card and a headset with me to my summer cottage in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the forest, quite near to Russian border here in northern eastern Finland. As you can see from the left-hand side picture, I was doing the morning show from my summer cottage over there. The middle picture, from Ville's cuisine. I'd say he was moving, but he was still working. So he did the afternoon show from his kitchen. And then there's one picture where we were driving about from point A to point B with our one of the summer road trips, and I was driving, Ville was doing the on air at the same time. And here's the video. Let me just so then there's just this small video basically adding up all the things that I've just said. A little clips is that you can see us doing broadcasting wherever. So there you go. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer you.
Thank you, Sini. That was a very good presentation showing the actual use cases, how you're currently using the RadioMan, and combine that one to Jorma's more technical presentation. I hope that you got a good overview. So now it's time for the Q&A. I will check all the questions that you have sent. You can send it by Q&A or by chat. So we have the first question is that what happens when you lose internet connectivity?
First, a couple of small comments. Sini said about the Finnish broadcasting company. It's so that in the regional services, there's transition going on. They are not yet using the RadioMan 6, but the national channels are running the RadioMan 6 service. But then if you lose the internet connectivity, the playout is still in the cloud, and if you have it playing, then it continues. It can be reached from any other place where you have internet connectivity. Naturally, if you are just commenting and speaking, the speak goes by WebRTC, so then you lose your speech in that sense. And there's also possibility to arrange extra material if for that kind of situations, but typically it's not a very big problem. Naturally, if you are going with the mobile handset and the laptop in the crowded places, it could happen, but not so often.
Yeah, a small shout out from me from experience. For example, of course, doing live shows from rock festivals or other type of places where there are plenty of people, you need to be careful. You need to have your connections there, maybe set out that you are able to use multiple different providers of the internet. So the machine always chooses the one that is available. It's like Jorma told that if I'm doing an interview and I lost the internet connection, of course it cuts it out. But the thing is that you can always put the music on because the music is in the clouds. So there's never silence. Then you just try to recover it during the music. But yeah, that hasn't been a big problem.
Yeah, and then we have a second question is about how do you manage web radio and streaming? So maybe this is also for both of you.
Well, naturally, the content in the web radio and streaming is the same as in the main channel, but it's so that the media node itself, as it produces the outgoing stream, it can produce stream to the FM transmitter. It can also produce a separate stream, for instance, with IceCast format or any other format to the internet streamer or streaming service. For instance, in Kaleva case, it's so that it's actually done so that from the player in media node in the cloud, it goes with SRT coding to the tower company, and within the tower company they separate the streams to internet distribution and FM distribution. And SRT we are using because it has tolerance for package losses and that kind of topics.
Okay, so yeah, we have plenty of questions coming using the Q&A and in the chat. So I will now take one from the chat. So is there an option to run emergency content on air when the remote mixer loses connection to the cloud?
If we place a silence detector in the media node or in the transmission channel, then we can do so that we can run emergency content there.
Yeah. Okay. Then the next one is, hello, thank you for great presentation. Does RadioMan use only cloud storage for music playback, local storage, or it can be both?
The music content itself is in the file servers that are typically in the cloud. If you have on-premises installation, they can be on-premises, but then it depends on the media node itself, because the media node caches the material. If you have the media node in cloud, then it is in the cloud, but if you bring the media node into the studio as a physical device, then you have the audio material cached in the studio environment.
Thanks. And then back to the Q&A. Could you easily run one cloud music database for 4 different stations?
Yes, it is possible to run, because with the RadioMan data model, we can even have different music categorizations for different station profiles. And then we can, within the same database environment, we don't restrict how many channels or stations you are actually running. So it's let's say standard configuration that you can do it. Naturally, if you are running the single database, then all those stations must be friendly to you, so that they are not competing each other, because they can use the same music material.
Yeah, I need to speed up that we have time for every question. So the next one is that, can you manage master channel with regional dayparts?
Yes, we can do so that that we have a master channel, and then the regional ones, they are also channels within the same database, but the regional channels can be configured so that once the regional program has either a advertisements or a local show or local material going on, it runs over the master channel. So it's possible to plan the whole layout. So,
thank you. Hello, if you lose connection, how do you send the command for playing music? Is there another person mixing content, or you play music automatically upon connection loss? Thank you for the great presentation.
There's two possibilities. Now, one possibility is what I mentioned earlier, that if we put up a silence detection, so that then we play automatic content material, or if you have someone else, because we don't limit how many on-air applications you are running to the same program at the time. You can have your buddy somewhere else with the same screen and just run the show.
Yeah, and then one important question, basically, hello, thank you for the presentation. How easy or difficult is it to upgrade RadioMan 5 to RadioMan 6?
If we transition from RadioMan 5 to RadioMan 6, actually the data models are upwards compatible, so that with if you have RadioMan 5 material and RadioMan 5 existing, you can actually install RadioMan 6 parallel to that and run it. So the only one that is not upward compatible is that once you start a show in RadioMan 6 on air, it's after that it is in RadioMan 6 format, so that you don't go back to RadioMan 5. And so it's quite easy to upgrade. The important thing there to look after is all the interfaces. If there are some very specific dedicated interfaces that have been done during the years, we have to look how to manage those. But that's a everyday issue we are encountering with the transitions.
Okay, this question goes for the Sini, Radio Kaleva. How much effort went into the training of RadioMan to your staff? How important is real hardware fader buttons to operate the system?
I can see the question. How much effort went into the training of your staff? Well, I was the one training, because like I told, I had the experience of RadioMan 5, and this was really new, operating the two mixers. So, but I'd say, because our hands full with everything, bringing up the station, so in the end, we didn't really rehearse that much. We just went on air and went by that. I'd say that for a couple of weeks, each of us tried sometimes the thing, and then we just went on air and it went fine. So quite light, I'd say, was the preparing. How important is real hardware fader buttons to operate the system? I don't know if I get do I understand the question? are we talking about the mixer here?
Yeah.
Like that to have an actual mixer. So we are basically talking about the Rodecaster Pro. Well, it enables us through the mixer. We via the mixer we get all the voices from the radio station to the RadioMan. If I have here a colleague or somebody that I'm interviewing, or multiple people that I'm interviewing, the mixer, the Rodecaster, is the one that enables me to, operate the different lines for different people. Then they all mix into one line into the mixer that is on the computer in RadioMan 6. So in that way, the Rodecaster is really important. Yeah.
If I continue a little, if you are really have a big studio, lots of participants and interfaces and that kind of going on, then it's useful to have the media node interconnected with the studio itself, and use it like a traditional way. That's possible. And then in the simplest format, if you have something like Rodecaster, you can configure it also so that you don't need to utilize the faders on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, let's take the last question before ending the webinar. So how do you manage audio editing? I think Jorma already covered this partly in his presentation. So at the moment we have the Quick Edit Pro, and we are currently developing this kind of brand new product, web audio platform, which will be in the cloud and can be used by mobile. But that is something that we will be launching later. So I think we are now over time, and I would like to thank you all for joining this webinar. And it was very nice to have you all here. And we hope that this webinar was very informative and valuable for you. And actually, here is our contact information. So if you have any questions still occurring later, you can contact us by phone, by email. That's it. So thank you very much.
And I think we will send you material and links to the material.
Exactly. We will send this later for you.
Yes. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.